Welcome to the Carbonite Jedi, where the Force will be with you always. Well, welcome to our live stream. We're going to be talking about the Mandalorian Season 3 and doing a breakdown of each episode and talking about it overall. And to help me do that is my good friend JD from work, who, lucky guy, he's been playing Jedi Survivor all day. Hey, JD, how's it going?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Good. So before we kick off the Mandalorian, why don't you give us a little uh, sneak peek into the Jedi Survivor?
Yeah, so Jedi Survivor's kind of picking up a little bit after where Jedi Fallen Order kind of ended. We got playing as Cal Kestis again, kind of a Jedi that was in hiding until he was forced out of hiding after the Night Sisters or the Inquisitors and the all the different like sisters came after him, kind of the Jedi Hunters. So was forced out of hiding and then kind of just was on a lot of different stuff that he went through, and even at the end of the first game, you kind of faced Darth Vader for a little bit. So that was just
Really?
kind of a cool little Easter egg kind of thing that happened. And so yeah, Jedi Survivor, you pick up where you left off as Cal Kestis. At the beginning, you kind of start in Coruscant, and you're doing like a mission with like a kind of a crew that you must have assembled at somewhere between the games. And I mean, so far I haven't gotten super far, but the graphics are beautiful, and the lightsaber fighting is just as fun as it was in the last one, if not even better. You start off with all like your abilities that you kind of had to work your way through at the first game, so you're kind of like a full-fledged Jedi Knight, and you can just slice everybody up.
So, did you get the standard package, or did you get the exclusive package that came with Han's blaster and the different outfits and stuff?
No, I just got the standard one. I thought about getting the deluxe one, but I was like, I'll just. I did that with Harry Potter, and it didn't seem worth it. So,
Oh, okay. So, when you first start the game, are you able to customize Cal as like you want, and do you get to choose what lightsabers, or is that later on?
so you kind of like I said, when you went through the first game, you kind of started off with one lightsaber, and then you found pieces, and you kind of modified your lightsaber to have like, you could have all three stances. You could have a single lightsaber, you could have a dual, like double-sided lightsaber, like Darth Maul, and then you could separate it so you have two lightsabers also. So you
Mm,
kind of
okay.
have that again, and you kind of slowly work your way back into that. You start with just one lightsaber, and then it shows you about the dual wield stance, and then like and it gives you like some stats on them. Like the dual wield stance is a little bit more defensive, and the double lightsaber stance is like kind of faster, but you get tired quicker because it's like you're swinging them both around like crazy.
Oh, okay.
So, and then once you get back to your ship after the kind of the first world, um, you get the ability to customize your lightsaber. You can find parts throughout the game, so you can customize it with different parts, and you get like a big range of colors. I think there's like 8 or 9 different colors you can choose from.
Really, that many?
Yeah, and then you can customize your ship and the color of the droid that goes with you, BB1, I believe it's called.
Oh, okay.
So, or
That
it's BD,
BD
BD,
one.
not BB. Yeah,
That's BB-8.
yeah.
Yes. So I did a video today because I saw an article on the new Ahsoka series that's coming out, and they
Mhm.
were mentioning how the two bad people in there have orange lightsabers, and they were trying to
Yeah,
figure out what the orange lightsabers meant. Were they really bad? Were they dark Jedi? They said in uh, the last one, not Jedi Survivor, but the one before it, that he had orange. You had the chance to use an orange lightsaber with
yeah,
him, and
yep.
so that's pretty cool. They even had a picture of him, Cal Kestis, with the orange lightsaber. So
Yeah, I think I tried all the different lightsaber colors to see which one I liked the best. And so here I could pull up how much or the different colors you can get. There's blue, green, purple, yellow, cyan, magenta, indigo, orange, and white.
They don't have a black one like the dark saber.
No, no.
That's cool. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. So you're looking forward to playing it, huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I've seen looked at some of the comments of just some other videos about it being out, and people said the story is really good. So I'm excited to dive deeper into the story and see where it goes. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to hear from you because I'm living vicariously through you until I get a PlayStation 5.
yeah,
All right. Okay, well, you want to jump into the Mandalorian 3 or season 3?
yeah. So I remember we talked about the first episode after we watched it back weeks ago, weeks and weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I remember us saying, wasn't disappointing, but it was just a little slow, kind of a get the ball rolling episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we've finished it, so I know we've talked about it a little bit every day at work, so I'm excited to kind of dive deeper into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I saw for when I was doing a recap myself was, let me pull up share screen. Okay. So let me go to the back front. So I think that, when they first started uh, the show, um,
Hmm.
they tried to kick it off really fast by having the big crocodile monster show up.
Right.
If you remember that.
Yep, and I
So,
think a little bit before that, it was kind of like they were giving us an insight into the ritual
mhm.
of a youngling, or is that what they're called? Youngling, or
Yeah.
get doing the creed and putting on their helmet for the first time.
Yep.
So we kind of got some insight on that, which is cool.
Kind of like how they would do it on Mandalore, bathing in the living waters.
Right.
And yeah. So yeah, so they did that, and then they, of course, Din Djarin comes in to save the day by
Yep.
blasting a hole in the crocodile,
Yeah.
and he's labeled the apostate because he took his helmet off.
Yep.
So after that, he tells the armor he's going to go to Mandalore and bathe in the living waters if it's still viable for him to do so, and unless because he doesn't even know if the waters are still there. So
Yeah.
so he gets in his ship and he first goes to Navarro to try to grab IG-11 and see if he
Yep.
can get him fixed.
Yeah, because they're not sure if the air is breathable. I think that was the reason. So he wanted to have a droid that could maybe test the air and stuff.
Exactly. That's it. Um, and while they're there, of course, there's pirates,
Yep.
and the king of the pirates, what was his name? It was like Gorian Shard, Pirate King Gorian Shard,
Oh, yep, that's right.
and he looked like the Swamp Thing,
Yeah,
which
he looked like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean.
oh yeah, that's right, which is a unique character that we've never really seen any of their kind
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. The other thing that we kind of noticed was, uh, a lot of season one was set in Navarro, and it was kind of like nothing, and now it's like a really distinguished town that's
Yep.
organized and looks nice.
Yeah, and I think hold on, Grief Karga. He really set out to make it a really nice place for people, and he was willing to um, do whatever it took to keep it that way,
Yeah.
fighting pirates or whatever, even talking to the Republic and asking for their help.
Yeah.
But so on episode one, uh, they kind of get into it a little bit with the pirates because the pirates wanted to go to the school that was supposed to be a bar, and
Yeah.
they kill them, and then uh, as a Mandalorian Din Djarin's leaving, they try to ambush him, but he gets away.
Yep.
And then the last part of it, he goes and we see Bo-Katan for the first time in the season, and she's all moody and
Mhm.
very angry because she doesn't have the saber and everybody left her. So
Yeah.
Din Djarin tells her that he's going to Mandalore, and she tells him goodbye. So
Yep.
that was episode 1.
Yeah, and I remember another thing that we kind of talked about a lot at episode 1 was seeing the space whales for a little bit.
Was that in episode 1?
I think so, or maybe it was episode 2.
Hold on 1 second. Let me look.
Yeah, that might have been episode 2 at the beginning.
I don't.
Well, I remember we talked about it on the first episode, I think, so maybe it was.
It could have been the first episode. Let me go back and look. Because I think when they went to. This is not as easy as I thought it would be. Chapter 1. So they go there. And then. Yep, you're
Yeah,
right.
okay. So in the recap, so it says that the armor reiterates that he has to bathe in the living waters, and then when he's on his way, when he's flying to Navarro, I think is when they saw it through
Actually,
hyperspace.
it's season 3, episode 1. You were right.
Yeah. Okay.
So on their way to Navarro. Man, I totally blanked that part. But yeah, that was such a cool scene that they pulled
Yeah, it was
from.
a cool little like Easter egg type thing.
Yeah. So the second episode was called The Mines of Mandalore, and it first starts off with one of my favorite characters, besides the obvious like Grogu and Din Djarin, is Peli
Yeah.
Motto, who has the
Yeah.
shop on Tatooine with all the droids, and
Yeah.
she's even missing her teeth from the fight with on the Boba Fett series.
Yeah.
And he's there to find IG the IG-11 part memory board, and they couldn't find it. So she sells R5 to Din Djarin, which R5 was actually in the original Star Wars movie when the Jawas tried to sell R5 to
Oh yeah.
Luke's uncle, Owen Lars.
Yep.
So
And
go ahead.
oh yeah, I was gonna say another thing we kind of see when they get there is that like the way Grogu flies out of the cockpit, like we see that he's starting to get like maybe get better with the Force.
Yep,
'Cause
exactly.
and so because she's even like, well, where'd you learn to do that?
Yep, that's funny. Um, I actually think that the convert or the Mines of Mandalore was one of my favorite episodes in the season because I thought the whole season was going to be a huge adventure of him trying to get down to the water from, the surface or whatever, but they just knocked it out in one episode. So,
Yeah.
but it was pretty fun. I mean, he gets there and they have those troglodyte looking creatures
Yep.
that he kills, and then he gets captured by the cyborg, which comes out of the sand and just snaps him up.
Mhm.
And then Grogu has to like run back to the ship, and R5 flies it back to Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan comes and saves him.
Yep.
And
I think one of the big things of this episode was that like the air was breathable. Like it was
yep,
like they thought it was going to be poisonous and everything. So that was like kind of like maybe it's not as bad as they heard that it was. So there's maybe some, like they gonna get some hope for Mandalore.
yep.
Redemption.
So, and it's really cool to see, that they've actually created Mandalore because I saw a lot of it in the Clone Wars
Hmm.
series, So um, one of the coolest things is at the very end when Din Djarin is like bathing in the waters after he's got his bell rung. He like slips
Yeah.
down really fast under the water, and
Yeah.
she goes down to save him and sees the mythosaur. So
Yep.
I thought the mythosaur was the crowning moment.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can. Yeah, yeah. That's dark spaces like that creep me out.
Yeah.
Then she sees him right there.
Yep.
So that was kind of the crowning achievement of this episode.
Yep.
Anything else that you want to talk about on this episode?
Um. There's a part that is kind of ends up being important in this episode, but it kind of gets brought up later, so we can wait till we get to the other episode where it gets kind of brought up.
Okay, so episode 3 is called The Convert.
Yep.
This is
No, this is Dr. Pershing.
so they're with Bo-Katan coming back from Mandalore,
Mm-hmm.
and they're heading back to Bo-Katan's planet of Kalevala, and they get ambushed by TIE fighters. They
Yep.
don't know where they came from, so they get to Kalevala. They're flying through, and all of a sudden they come through and totally blow up her palace.
Yep. TIE bombers just destroy it.
So she's not too happy. But then it switches right after that to Dr. Pershing in Coruscant. And I'm still a little hazy on why they even did this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, it was cool to see like kind of the street views of the city and stuff, because I know we would get kind of bits and pieces throughout like the main Star Wars movies, like kind of over like sky views, but we never got down to the street level really that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean that was kind of cool to see, but I'm with you. I'm not sure what that actually all brought to the episode or the series.
I love this series, but sometimes it seemed like they put in fillers sometimes just to stretch it out. And this episode was actually the longest episode that they had. It was like almost 58 minutes long.
Yeah.
So
it was cool to see the foods.
Yeah, the snow cone or whatever it was.
Whatever they were, and then they had the little cracker things, cookie things, whatever they were that he liked.
And they saw the tip of the mountain.
Yeah. I think maybe it was just kind of to show that that girl, what was her name?
I forgot, and I didn't look it up her name. She makes me
I
mad
think it's
anyway.
just kind of to show that she was still kind of part of she's faking that she's kind of like going back against the ways of the Empire, and when she's kind of like maybe secretly undercover.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I could think of really that they were trying to do there.
Yeah. I mean, the poor guy, he wants to do the right thing, and then I don't know. I feel like she kind of like, coerced him a little bit, do it, and he thought he was doing the right thing, and then she set him up just so she could melt his brain, basically.
Yeah.
And then after that whole long episode of melting his brain, it shows Din Djarin and Bo-Katan and Grogu coming back to where the Mandalorians have their secret base, and he tells them that he bathed in the waters and he becomes a Mandalorian again, and so does Bo-Katan. So,
Yeah, and then like she asked for proof, and I think they had like a little vial of water.
yep,
She pours it in something, and it's like proof that they're
he did do it.
they're redeemed.
They are redeemed. You are redeemed. Um, so the number episode 4, the Foundling, is one of my favorites too. Well, the first part of the episode was, well, actually, the whole thing is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about this one?
Sure, yeah. So, it kind of just shows them with all the other Mandalorians. That shows the Foundlings training, and so they put Grogu against Ragnar, which is Paz Vizsla's son, and they're using darts to kind of try to fight each other. And Grogu's just getting shot, shot a couple times, and then Mando kind of tells him like, "Yeah, do your thing," like, and then he starts flipping around and shoots the guy 3 times and wins the battle.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool to see. One of the coolest part, which I think this is kind of why, one of the reasons why this might be your favorite episode, was once Grogu's in the forge with the armor, talking about the Mandalorians and everything. Grogu kind of goes in a flashback of Order 66 and how the Jedi's are trying to save him, trying to get him to a Jedi called Kelleran Beck.
Yep.
Fun thing about this was that there's an Easter egg that Kelleran Beck was played by the voice actor of Jar Jar Binks, so that was kind of a cool Easter egg. That brought him back.
Yep.
To kind of maybe redeem himself, since a lot of people were not fans of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I thought he did fantastic.
Yeah, he did awesome, and it's cool. He used 2 lightsabers, and it was nice to see some lightsaber action. And Kelleran Beck takes him to a Naboo ship, and that's kind of how he escapes from the clone troopers that were chasing him. So it was kind of a cool flashback, just to see kind of what Grogu went through to get to where he was now.
Yeah, I heard somebody was saying that the Queen of Naboo is the one that helped him escape, because it wasn't Padme anymore. They had a new queen.
Right.
So she's the one who helped him escape, and that's why it was a Naboo ship that was there when they escaped. So,
yeah, I don't know if it said what happened to Kelleran Beck. I think they both got on the ship, did they, or was it just Grogu?
No.
Okay, so
both got on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had because that the clone transport came and started.
Oh, that's right.
And then they were being chased by the TIE fighters, I think.
Yeah. So that was a cool flashback, and then goes back to the Mandalorians, and they go on a hunting party. And did they go on a hunting party because the Ragnar got taken, or was he taken while they were on the hunting party?
No, he was like walking, and all of a sudden that creature flew up over the canyon and grabbed him.
Pterodactyl thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they kind of go on a rescue mission to save him. And they had to kind of come up with a plan to, because like it was flying so fast, their jetpacks couldn't like catch up to it, so they had to kind of travel and kind of regroup and go back to try to find it, and they found its nest, and
I think Bo-Katan followed it in her ship.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then the mother was about to feed Ragnar to her babies, and like spits them up.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
And then Paz Vizsla kind of saves his son, and then it shows them kind of coming back to the camp, and everyone celebrates Ragnar's return, and Din Djarin says like, we have 3 new foundlings, and at first I was like, what the heck does that mean? And then he comes out with the little the babies, these little pterodactyl babies. And apparently that was like I think the armor said that was like one of the highest armor like honors of like rescuing a foundling or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So and the armor notices her piece of her armor is missing and kind of starts to make a new piece, and that's when she brings up to the armor that she saw the mythosaur and she wants the mythosaur on her shoulder pad, her new piece. And armor tells her that the mythosaur is like the prophecy that if the mythosaur is back, then it's hope that Mandalore is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a cool ending to the episode. And then you see her piece of armor.
When you choose to walk the way of the Mandalore, you will
Let's see.
see.
There it is.
Yep. Pretty sweet looking.
Yep. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Then we go. Was there anything else you want to say about this episode?
I don't think so.
Okay. So then we go to episode 5, and it's the pirate.
Where did you come upon the dark saber?
So we have King Gorian Shard has decided to take over Navarro,
Mm-hmm.
and Grief Karga sends out a request to the New Republic to come help him. So Captain Tiva goes to Coruscant because nobody's responding to his requests to help Navarro. And of course, the spy who melted Dr. Pershing's brain is his assistant, and mentions that Navarro isn't part of the Republic, so they can't help. So Captain Tiva goes and finds the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and lets him know that his buddy, Grief Karga, is having issues. So, yeah. So he's there.
Blue boy.
They keep calling him Blue Boy. I don't know why.
Isn't welcome.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't
they
know.
call him Orange Boy. But
Yeah.
he lets Dinjarin know, and Dinjarin gets his all the Mandalorians. He requests their help. And at first I thought Paz Vizsla was going to be a complete jerk about it, but
Yeah.
he wasn't. He was on Dinjarin's side.
Yep.
So,
I think it was because like they kind of helped save his son, so it was kind of like a repaying that debt, I guess.
yep. So the Mandalorians go and they fight Gorian Shard, and
You won't get away.
as they're fighting Gorian Shard, they totally like destroy his whole fleet, and then they destroy his ship. You can see it go down and explode, and
Yeah.
really cool.
This is definitely one of my favorite episodes, just because all the Mandalorians kind of dropping in squads and kind of fighting like that. It was pretty sweet to see them kind of be like a cohesive unit fighting together.
Yeah,
That was pretty my favorite parts.
They were tough.
Yeah.
I liked it when they had taken over Grief Karga's office, and they had that machine gun or whatever, and all of a sudden the armor just comes up there and just whoops them with her hammer and tongs, you know.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny that she just uses a hammer and just whacks people.
Yep. So yeah, so they liberate the town, and Grief Karga gives the Mandalorians a whole section of land, you know, to live on if they want to. And then after that, they have a section where Captain Tiva's in deep space, and he finds a prisoner transport that's been like pretty shot up, finds dead people in it, but it's Moff Gideon's transport, and Moff Gideon's not on there.
Yep.
But he sees Beskar armor in the walls. So that leads me to believe that one of the spies could be one of the people under Axe Woves, who was the leader of the other group of Mandalorians.
Yeah. And then another kind of important part in this episode is the one down at Navarro, the armor this is where she kind of speaks to all the Mandalorians. And she tells Bo-Katan to take off her helmet, and that Bo-Katan saw the mythosaur, and that it's time for Mandalorians to all unite and take back their planet. And so she's like, well, Bo-Katan's the one that used to be part of this old group that didn't wear their helmets and didn't follow the way. And now she's kind of redeemed herself and did go part of the way, and she's with us. So now she's kind of been a part of both groups, so maybe she can help unite everybody so they can be one big happy family.
She walks both worlds.
Yep.
Huh. Okay. Yep. When she told Bo-Katan to take off her helmet, I thought it was a trap.
Yeah, I kind of did too. I was like, oh no, I was kind of nervous, but it made sense.
Okay. So yeah. All right. So then we come to Guns for Hire.
Yep.
And in the first part, we see the two aquatic species. I totally forgot their names, but Admiral Akbar was one part. He was part of them.
Oh yeah.
And then the other one looks like octopus or squid heads.
Yeah.
And the prince of, I think they're called calamari, maybe?
Calamari?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think one of them, the prince, fell in love with the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
And the Mandalorians were sent, the other faction of Mandalorians were sent to get him back. So
yeah,
they got him back, and then all of a sudden it shows Bo-Katan and Grogu and Din Djarin flying to a planet that is non-Republic to talk to Axe Woves and all the Mandalorians.
Right.
And this one had Jack Black and Lizzo and Christopher Lloyd in it, and this was actually one of more of my favorite ones. It was kind of like a side story to me, kind of filler.
Yep.
Any thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, like you said, it was like a filler episode. It was kind of fun to see the cameos of Jack Black and Lizzo as kind of like the Duchess and I don't know what they were called, but yeah, the Duchess and the King or whatever they were of the planet. And I thought they both did a good job playing their parts.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about the part where they have like a droid problem where they had turned all the droids into like kind of being like workers and stuff, but some of them were malfunctioning and like attacking people, I think, and or just doing weird things. So they said the Duchess and Jack Black say like, well, if we're like they basically hire them to help try to figure out what's going on with the droids. So
yes, since the citizens couldn't have guns and they couldn't do anything,
that's right? Yeah,
part of their, I don't know, their constitution or whatever. But yeah, and come to find out, it was Christopher Lloyd.
Yep.
The Doc on Back to the Future, who was a separatist, and he was like really, he really admired Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Also in this episode, it got kind of serious at the end. Din Djarin gave Bo-Katan the Darksaber because she had earned it, and he just held on to it for her. And
Yep.
so she accepted it, and then she fought Axe Woves for leadership of the Mandalorians, and she won.
So I think
So
I think they fought, and Bo-Katan ended up winning, but Axe still didn't want to follow her because she didn't have the Darksaber. He's like, you're not really the true leader. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where I said I would bring this up later, was that Din Djarin offered it to her because, and she's like, well, that's not how it works. Like, I had to earn it in battle. And he's like, well, I lost it in battle with that droid,
mhm.
and then you ended up taking beating the droid, so therefore you defeated the person who defeated me, so therefore Darksaber is yours. And he kept her, and then she kind of takes the Darksaber, and that's how she kind of gets it back and becomes, I guess, the leader of Mandalore again. Mandalorians.
All right. Anything else about this episode?
I don't think so.
Okay. So we'll move on to episode 7, which was The Spies. It was multiple spies.
Yeah.
So we have the woman who melted the brain of Dr.
Alina. Yeah, I think I saw her named Alina Kane.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So she's working with Moff Gideon, as you see him there.
Yep.
And so she tells him that the Mandalorians killed the pirates or whatever, and he gets upset. So he decides to try to make a trap for the Mandalorians so he can take over Mandalore.
Yep.
So, right after this happens, it shows him walking down the aisle with these new stormtrooper outfits that are made of Beskar.
Looks pretty sweet.
Yeah. And then he starts talking with other remnants of the Empire.
Already getting sick of this new
that are it's like 5 or 6 governors, I guess, of different systems.
Yeah.
And they're all talking about different things. One talks about who's the new Grand Admiral Thrawn coming back, but we never see him. And then Grand Moff Tarkin, Grand Moff Gideon talks about clones, and he's close. So, you want to talk about anything here, or?
No, I think they just kind of talk about how they have all this new stuff. I think he said something about getting I can't remember if it's purge troopers or something. How he had a few of those. I think that's what they were called.
Okay.
And yeah, so I mean that gets brought up and becomes relevant a little bit later. But yeah, it was just a meeting, and it was kind of I think it was kind of just a cool another kind of, they like to do a lot of Easter eggs in this show, so I think that was just another cool little Easter egg for maybe the Ahsoka series coming out, because I know Admiral Thrawn was mentioned in that as well. So
yeah, and he requests TIE fighters and also 3 Imperial guards, right?
Yeah.
So then you have both factions of the Mandalorians landing on Navarro to meet up, and it's very awkward.
Yeah.
Because you have all the diehard Mandalorians with their helmets on, and the other ones with their helmets off. So and I think the armor is pushing Bo-Katan to make them meld together. So let's see. So one of the funniest things I thought was when Grogu got his IG-12
Yeah.
walking armor.
Battle suit.
Yeah. Let's see. And he kept telling him no. He's
Yeah.
going to keep it. And the little guy told him, no, you're not going to hug me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was one of the funniest parts. And then when they go outside and he like starts taking food off the stalls
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. So finally, this wasn't a long episode, but it had a lot of stuff in it. They go to Mandalore and they're in orbit over Mandalore, and then they go through the clouds and land, and then they meet people that had been on Mandalore since it had like been bombed. What they call it, the Night of 1,000 Tears or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And they show them around, and
Yep. And it sounds like they were loyal to
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
And then she tells about how she gave the Darksaber to Moff Gideon to try to save everybody, and he went ahead and bombed the planet anyway.
Right.
So one of the cool things I thought was when they flew, or when the monster destroyed their ship.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was the Mythosaur, but I guess it wasn't. I guess it was another big monster they have on Mandalore.
Yeah.
And then they had a lot of sick people, so the armor decided to take them back to the ships in orbit to try to help them, get better.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they kept showing, her going through the clouds and stuff. And I thought something was going to hit the ship or something was going to blow it up. And it just flies out into space and goes to the ship without any issues. But while she's doing that, they find this secret base.
Yep. They're going towards the main forge.
Yeah, the main forge. That's right. As they get to the main forge, they find that there's Moff Gideon's secret base is there.
Yep.
So
they see a group of people coming at them with jetpacks, and they're like, "Those aren't Mandalorians." And then they find out that they're the Imperial troopers. A big battle ensues, which is pretty intense.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. That, and in the next episode, they have a pretty cool battle.
Yeah.
Also. One of the things I thought was funny was they told was it? No, it was in the next episode. No, it was this episode when they told Axe Woves to go to the ship and let them know that they're. So here's my question. In episode 2 of The Foundling, or episode 3 of The Foundling, they couldn't follow that bird very fast.
Yeah.
But he can fly from the ground all the way up into outer space.
Yeah.
on his jetpack. What's up with that? Maybe he had
I don't know.
super rocket fuel or something.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
So one of the things I thought was sad, and my daughter actually cried when it happened, was when Din Djarin got captured, and then Paz Vizsla sacrificed himself to let everybody get away, because this is the way. And the Imperial guards came out and just like toasted him. They totally like killed him. So my daughter was really upset.
Yeah, I was pretty sad too. He was one of my favorite Mandalorians.
Yeah,
I thought his armor and his jetpack looked pretty cool and everything, and he was a beast.
had that
So it's
neat machine gun.
yeah, the big like Gatling gun type
Yep.
thing, and so it was sad. It was a sad episode.
So one of the things about this episode is it says spies,
Yeah,
plural, and we only see one spy, and that's Moff Gideon's spy that's undercover in the Republic, the New Republic.
yeah,
There was a lot of speculation that either the armor or uh, Axe Woves was the um, other spy inside the
yeah,
Mandalorian camp. The reason they said the armor was because she has the ability to, she knows how to make the Beskar armor, and all the stormtroopers had Beskar armor. And then Axe Woves, because he's a mercenary and he would have been in the best position to have freed Moff Gideon.
yeah,
But, others people said Paz Vizsla, but he kind of died, so he wouldn't be the spy. What are your thoughts?
yeah. I mean, I think Axe Woves would have been a good guess. Like, I mean, that would make sense. Like, I could see him being a little shady, um, and like it just makes sense that maybe he was still like I don't know, trying to do something with the Imperials or Moff Gideon or somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I never really kind of said who was if that was like an intentional thing, like a little hint that maybe it's not being revealed yet. But we'll look next season. We'll look back at someone that gets revealed as a spy,
Yeah,
and we'll say like, oh, that is why they called it spies. But right now, it just yeah, it's a kind of a question mark.
a big question mark.
Yeah,
Always makes you have you like looking over your shoulder.
yeah,
All right, so this ended with, yep, like I said, Paz Vizsla dying,
yep.
and then we come to the last episode called The Return. And in The Return, Din Djarin is able to break free, and Grogu's right there to help him escape in his IG-11 or
Yeah.
IG-12.
Yeah, I remember they cut like a hole or something through it in the last episode, and I was like, I don't remember seeing his little robot machine go through, and I was like, and I don't know how it would either, but so that makes sense that he stayed
Mm-hmm.
somehow with Din Djarin to help him.
All right, yep. So actually, it was in this one they sent Axe Woes up to the ship above orbit,
Oh, okay.
and then they get R5 to fly down,
Yep.
and gets like a map of the base to Din Djarin, and then he also helps him navigate to the command center through those red energy walls, and he fights all those stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And then R5 gets attacked by those mouse droids, the little
Oh, yeah.
rolling mouse droids. You got anything you want to add to that?
Um, yeah, I think Din Djarin just kind of like uh goes through and says like he's got to be the one. He wants to go fight Moff Gideon,
Oh yeah,
and uh,
actually,
oh, those Dark Troopers again come out, the Imperial Guards.
mm-hmm,
That was a pretty intense fight.
that was intense because he had to like every wall that came down, he had to fight two more.
Yeah, yeah. And he kept saying like, yeah, he's like, take down this wall, and then he would like fight them and steal their weapons and stuff. And
Yep.
it was like going through the gauntlet.
Very much so. Um, yeah, when when Axe Wolves went up to the ship and he told everybody to leave, that they're going to use it as a decoy, I thought they were going to expose him as a spy,
Yeah,
but apparently they didn't. He tried to take out all the TIE fighters that came at the ship. So
Yep. And then
he,
another
go
kind
ahead.
of cool part, another part we kind of eventually see is they kind of go, Din Djarin and Grogu kind of go into a room, and there's these cloning tanks,
Oh
a
yeah,
bunch of Moff Gideon clones. One of them even opens his eyes and looks at Grogu, kind of creepy, a little jump scare thing. But Din Djarin blows it up, and they all die. And then
Moff.
Moff Gideon wasn't very happy about that because
No,
I
he
think he
wasn't at
said,
all.
I think he said, I can't remember if he said that they had the Force and he hasn't
Mhm.
used it yet, or if that was the only thing that they were missing was being able to use the Force. But he was trying to make like Super Troopers.
I think he'd given them the ability to have the Force, but they'd never be able to use it since he killed them all.
Right.
So it also shows the let's see. There's like a cave that they go to that has like all these plants and stuff growing. So it
Yeah, that was cool.
shows that Mandalore's still alive, even though the top is glass.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of brings it like forth the prophecy that like there is hope for Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
And after seeing the Mythosaur, it's like a potential for a new age of Mandalore. So that was cool.
That is cool. So then they fly with all the other
Yep.
Mandalorians
Yeah.
to the secret base, and then Din Djarin and starts fighting Moff Gideon, and Bo-Katan
Yeah.
comes and helps him out and tells him to go save Grogu because Grogu got pushed into a room by 3 of the Imperial guards.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that's not looking good for Grogu.
Yeah, I was nervous. I was like, surely they can't kill off Grogu. I was like, there's no way.
Mm-mm.
So, but yeah, this one is kind of, I thought was really cool because you see Grogu using the Force a lot. He's like running in circles and
Yeah.
jumping and flipping and stuff. And this is the part where I thought he was gonna pick up one of their weapons and use it, but
Yeah.
he just ended up using the Force and I think he threw one of the weapons to Din Djarin or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So then they kill the 3 Imperial guards, and the ship comes out of, the ship's coming down
Yeah.
the base, and all the Mandalorians are like trying to get out.
Yeah.
And so Din Djarin and Grogu come, and
Yeah, I think they say something like Mandalorians are stronger together or something like that.
yeah. So then Grogu uses the Force to create a bubble.
That's right, like a...
Oh yeah. And Moff Gideon. Oh, there it goes with the ship.
Yep.
What's she gonna do with that little bitty?
Yeah. The thought that counts.
Yeah. Yeah. So you would think they would all be fried, but
Yep.
Grogu's using the Force to.
Yep. Once again, he's showing us how much stronger he's getting with the Force.
Yeah. It'd be funny if Din Djarin stuck his finger out and tried to touch the flame. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He held it for a long time.
Yeah, he did. I thought he was gonna start getting weak.
Yeah, you could tell after that he's like tired because he like plops down.
Yeah. So they save Mandalore, and then we get to the next part where, at the very beginning of the season,
Mhm.
which I just realized right now, in the very beginning of the season, they were doing the same thing, but it got interrupted by the crocodile.
Oh, so they're finishing it. I guess I didn't realize that either.
Yep.
In the words of the creed.
Yep. So they're finally, his name was Ragnar.
Yep.
So they get Ragnar bathed in the living waters, and then Grogu gets to sense the mythosaur down there.
Yeah.
But that's not all. So little ways later, Din Djarin, he adopts Grogu,
Yep.
and he has to go with him as Grogu becomes a bounty hunter.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That part was cool. He wanted Grogu to like be able to do the creed and everything, and she said that he can't because he can't speak. And Jaren's like, well, what if his parents like say that he can? She's like, well, his parents are probably dead. And so she's like, well, then I'll adopt him. And she's like, call him, uh, was it Din Grogu or Grogu
Yeah.
Din?
Din
Yeah,
Grogu.
Yeah, that's his new name.
This is the way.
Yep.
So yeah, so he goes and talks to Captain Teva, and tells him that he wants to become an independent contractor for the Republic, hunting down criminals.
Yeah.
And then, as payment for doing that, he takes the IG-11 that's up on the wall and fixes it.
Oh yeah.
Fixes up IG-12 and makes it the new Marshal of Navarro.
Yep.
And then after that, Grief Karga gives Din Djarin a little, I guess, a little cabin out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we see Din Djarin sitting there and Grogu like levitating frogs out of the pond.
Oh yeah. And that
So,
kind of wraps it up.
and that wraps it up. Was there anything else you want to talk about on this episode?
I don't think so. I mean, I so like throughout this whole like series, I was kind of like felt like there was a lot of good episodes, but I wasn't sure how a lot of them were connecting all the time. But I think this one like wrapped it up really well. Had a good ending, kind of put a good bow on the season. So I was happy with it, and I'm excited for next season. I'm curious what they'll do. They left open a lot of possibilities for different things. So
Yeah, they like you said, they wrapped it up really well. I think two of the things that didn't really make a lot of sense to me, which they'll probably, like you said, bring it up in the next season or something, is why did they go through all the trouble of screwing that Dr. Pershing up,
yeah,
and the other was, is there another spy within the Mandalorian camp,
yeah.
so
Yep, and there was like I guess like some like rumors I heard, or not rumors, I guess more like theories. Is that like maybe one of the Moff Gideon clones survived somehow, or
yeah,
there's other ones, so that could be a way that Moff Gideon kind of still comes back as the bad guy.
I heard that
Maybe
too.
even stronger.
I heard
Maybe he
that
can use the Force.
Moff Gideon didn't die, that Moff Gideon was actually a clone,
Or yeah.
because he he didn't have a mustache or anything, and the original Moff Gideon
Uh,
did have a mustache. So
that's right.
yeah, it's it'll be really interesting to see. My wife said
Yeah.
she's over Moff Gideon, but
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that too. Like, it'd be nice to have a different bad guy, but I mean, I guess we can keep bringing back Moff Gideon. I guess they will.
was it you that told me that for the next? No, it was my father-in-law told me for the next season of The Mandalorian, they're actually going to make it a movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's true or not. It's all hearsay.
Yeah,
So, but it would be kind of cool to have a Mandalorian movie.
that would be cool. The only thing is like how much they could put into the time for a movie
Yeah.
versus how much they could put in for like a bunch of episodes of a series. But I'd be interested. I mean, 100% would watch it and see how it is.
Well, I mean, if you average the Mandalorian, it was probably about 4.5 hours if you watch
Yeah,
it through. So, I mean, that'd be a long movie.
yeah. Would you watch a 4.5 hour movie?
Yeah, if I was interested in it. I mean, Lord of the Rings was pretty long.
Yeah, that's true. And I think
Um,
like a movie like Avengers, the last Avengers was like maybe 3 hours and some change. So
yeah, it'd just be neat, to have have a movie where they're able to get everything in it that they need, not
hmm
have too many people in it. I think sometimes they try to cram too many people in a movie, and it just loses everybody when they do that.
yeah,
Um, maybe have like Ahsoka come and ask him or ask the Mandalorians to help her fight Grand Admiral Thrawn or something. I think that'd be
that'd be
cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe have Luke show up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's right in the middle of like uh, a lot of things that happen. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities of things that they could do
Yeah,
to kind of tie it in with the like other episodes.
yeah. I liked this episode. I mean, I liked this series, the season 3. I liked
Yeah,
Obi-Wan. Andor, it wasn't. It was kind of slow for me, and it didn't have the
yeah,
same effect as it didn't feel Star Wars to me.
yeah.
But I'm waiting for Ahsoka. That's next August.
Yep, I think that'll be a good one.
Hopefully they don't push it back like they've
Yeah.
done everything else in Star Wars. Um, any thoughts or ideas? Any theories that you want to shoot out there that you think might happen in the next series, next season?
Nothing I've heard so far. The only thing really I heard was, like I said, the Moff Gideon thing. But besides that, I'm not really sure. Like they kind of left it where it's like kind of like a blank slate. They could do a lot of different things to make for the next season, or like even you said possibly a movie. So whatever it is, I'm excited and I'll be ready to watch it when it comes out.
Yeah. There was one thing I saw when I rewatched some of the shows, when after they went to Mandalore and Bo-Katan had, you know, taken a bath in the waters also with
Yeah.
Din Djarin. They were flying back and they were talking about, hey Drew, what's up? How's it going? They were talking about they said something like this. They said something, and then Din Djarin said, "This is the way." Then Bo-Katan
hmm
said, "This is the way," and then Grogu mumbled something that sounded like "This is the way," like he was talking, and then Din Djarin like turned to Grogu, like, "Did you just say something?" And
Yeah.
so what I'm hoping is in the next season, maybe he'll say some couple of words or
Yeah, that'd be cool. I kind of thought that maybe it would be a part where I can't remember what part it was, but I thought there was a part where he would start talking in this season too. But most talking we got was just the yes and the no of the IG-12 suit, which is cool, and
yeah,
it's still pretty funny.
yeah. Drew, what movie did you get? Yeah. Um, I think having him talk. I mean, it's kind of cool not having him talk, because they
Yeah,
make him so expressive that you kind of understand what he's doing most of
yeah.
the time. But having him
I
talk
think
next
people
season,
I think people like just like how he's like kind of cute and just has like kind of the baby babbling noises. But I think I would like if he talked. I think that'd be even just like couple words here and there. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Warrior. I think I've seen that movie. I think that was a good movie.
Is that an old movie from the 80s, or is that a newer movie?
I think it's a little bit newer if it's the one I'm thinking of. I think it's like the fighting one, like the UFC one or whatever. If I'm thinking of the right movie.
I'll have to look it up. So besides Grogu talking, anything else?
That I'd be excited for.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I'm curious if they're gonna maybe have something that's gonna be like another unifying item for Mandalore, or if the Darksaber kind of breaking was kind of a like a symbol of like kind of unifying them, whether they're following the way or whether if they're kind of doing their own thing and not wearing their helmets. If that was just kind of like a unifying thing that they could be united without that symbol. But I mean, I liked the Darksaber was cool. I liked it. It was a cool weapon.
Yeah.
I didn't see it a whole lot, but
No. I just wish Grogu would be able to get like his own lightsaber.
yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, because the guy Vizsla, who created the Darksaber, was a Mandalorian and a Jedi. You know, he walked both worlds basically, and so I kind of think that Grogu should be able to walk both worlds too, and he can create his own Darksaber.
Yeah, or even just a lightsaber. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I'm excited for. Is if they see it and make a lightsaber, like maybe they'll find like a old like mythosaur bone or something, and he can use that as like a piece of to make the piece of his lightsaber or something.
Yeah, he'll just have to like find a kyber crystal, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's does it seem to you like at the very last scene he's sitting there kind of like focusing on using the Force?
Yeah, like practicing, I guess, or meditating using the Force. Yeah. So if Grogu had a lightsaber, what color do you think it would be?
That's
tough.
It would be either blue or purple.
Blue or purple?
Uh-huh. I think he walks the fine line between he's not too ashamed to show his anger, like he choked Kara in like the first episode when he thought that Kara was hurting Din Djarin, like in the first season, and also like when he came out of that tunnel on Mandalore, he knocked the crap out of that troglodyte.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not afraid to use the Force. When I kind of like say this tongue in cheek, toward the dark side, because choking and stuff is more of a dark side. So, what do you think?
Yeah.
What color?
Yeah, I think I guess that makes sense. It could be like a purple, and maybe like a different color. Like maybe it'd be orange. I don't know, or like maybe just white, since he doesn't really follow either. I mean, I guess white's more of like. I mean, it's a gray Jedi, obviously, so like neither. I mean, I guess it could be.
Well, there's only been one person that had a white sabers, and that was Ahsoka, because she stole the red crystals from a Sith and was able to take the red out of it or the bleeding out of it. So
Yeah.
cool, Drew.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see a Grogu with a little lightsaber.
Yoda's lightsaber.
Yeah.
What'd you make? Which Marvel shorts did you make? Well, I think Din Djarin's got it pretty good now.
Yeah.
Grogu's got it good. The Mandalorians are setting up camp.
Yep.
If Moff Gideon's still around, I'm sure he's going to be trying to make, himself a menace.
Yeah.
But
And they got a good deal going on with the Republic to kind of be a helping hand.
Yep.
Maybe that'll be some of the next season too, is kind of showing the adventures of making Grogu more of a bounty hunter.
Yeah. Well, I've not heard anything about a new Boba Fett season. But if
Yeah.
they do, I wonder if they would have the Mandalorian show up in that.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I would. Well, you got anything else you want to talk about on season 3, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's a fun season.
It was. Well, Drew, you came in right at the last minute. Oh, you did want to Lego Hulk. Are you a big Marvel fan, JD?
Yeah. Yeah. I love Marvel.
Yeah, it's cool that Disney owns both of them, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Drew, we'll have to check out your videos if you have them posted. Thanks for sharing with us. Well, I think we're going to call it a night.
Yep.
Thanks for coming by, Drew. We really appreciate it. JD, thank you so much for coming on here and
Yeah,
chatting
of course.
with
Thanks for having me.
about the Mandalorian. It was fun. Well, everybody out there, we appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll be back with more Star Wars content. And may the Force be with you always. Bye.
Bye.